Sometimes that door's a little tricky. Hold on. Ah, there we go. All right. Good frosty morning, everyone. Woo-wee, it is a little bit chilly out here. And so, you know, this greenhouse, really, realistically, it's more like a high tunnel. It does okay. It keeps things a little bit warmer than it is outside. And it keeps mostly the wind and snow and frost off of things. So things can sort of survive and grow in here. Just not very fast or very well. So the other day, actually, I got a question about these black barrels that you always see in all the videos behind me. We have 3 55-gallon black barrels full of water. And the idea of that was making a thermal mass, something that will absorb some heat during the day and disperse it at night to kind of keep things a little bit warmer. The question was, have I noticed if they're working or not? And, you know, to be honest with you, I feel like they don't really do a lot. So I made this awesome dish for dinner last night. Turned out really, really good. So I pulled the spaghetti squash from out of my basement, and I decimated this kale back here, as you can see. It used to be very lush and full until I picked it all. And I also used some of the super rosemary that's just been killing it out here, even with the frost on it. And we also used garlic, if you know. You know, like a whole head of garlic, of course, because what's the saying? You only can measure garlic with your heart. But this awesome dish that I made also had chickpeas, which now, of course, I'm like, man, I gotta learn to grow chickpeas, because I didn't grow those myself. But everything else in the dish, I guess minus the olive oil, but we're way too cold to grow olive oil. Olives to grow the oil. Way too cold up here. But everything else was from my garden, and I tell you what, that was an awesome, awesome dish. I was very surprised because I was like, I looked up a couple recipes and I saw some people mixing this up, and I'm like, I don't know, man, that sounds a little bit out there. Man, I tell you what, that was so good. So now I'm super pumped because now I'm looking for chickpeas, because I really got to grow me some chickpeas to be able to make that a lot more. All right, well, I gotta get some watering done because these things haven't been watered in a little while. Ah, dang it. Gotta go get another thing of water. So in terms of using these barrels as you can hear that there's a bunch of ice in there. And using them as a thermal mass, I think it's a really good idea. I think it's definitely something that can happen. Here in Michigan, it's really, really cold. We don't have sunshiny days all the time. Sometimes it's just dreary and gray outside, and that really affects it. Most days, this greenhouse gets to about 40, 45. Really good days, it hits 50, 60 degrees in the winter. So not really crazy warm, but warm enough, right? And days like this, it's kind of cold out, it's dark, it's gray. It's probably going to be lucky to get, you know, into the low 40s during the middle of the day. But then these to warm up enough to actually do anything, we don't have enough sunshine, we don't have enough time. Here, I don't think it's a very good option as far as heating the greenhouse. Unless you have some kind of external heater. So I have been playing with the ideal of setting up some kind of solar system out here to run a small heater to try to heat this greenhouse during the day and see if these will have more effect on a night after it's been heated during the day with actual blown air heat. Well, having a solar power system down here is definitely one of my top options. I just think it makes the most sense. You know, I could also run power out here if I really wanted to, and just have an electrical outlet in here to plug in a little heater, little space heater, and I think it probably would do quite a bit. The only problem with that is that would really affect the electric bill. The other option, and I have talked about this before also, and I have almost all of the parts I need to make it. I have a little solar powered fan, I have all the wood I think I need, I got the plexi, and I got the I think I have everything to make it, would be a solar air heater. That's a pretty cool idea. The idea would be that it would draw air up into a chamber that is painted black with like a window type reflection to draw that sun, to heat that up, and then it would blow the air in with a little like computer fan in a pipe. And I think that's a good idea. So we probably will try that. I have all the things I need. So that's definitely an option. So between a solar air heater, which would be no charge really, because that little computer fan, it's like a 4-inch fan, can run off of a tiny solar panel, kind of like these lights that we have in here. We have these little hanging lights, and they actually have a little solar panel like that, and that thing will actually get enough power during the day that I could turn these lights on at night, and they will stay on for a very long time. So I think with the computer fan, with a little solar panel on it, it would be able to run during the day while the sun is out, while the sun can warm up that air. And then when it gets too dark, we would run out of the sunlight, the power, and it would shut the fan off, kind of like an automatic on-off switch depending on where the sun's at in the day. So I'm thinking that's a really good option to try. I got all the stuff, I just gotta get some time set aside to do it. I ended up working Saturday of this weekend, so you know, joy is there. It really limits getting anything done out here. So I'm hoping down the line here I get a full weekend off or two to try to get this project done, because you know there's other stuff I always got to do too, and trying to squeeze all these other projects in there, man, sometimes it gets really hard. You all know what I'm talking about. We're all adults, right? None of us ever have time on our hands, do we? Never. And I have been thinking about solar, like a solar system, like setting up a solar panel with a battery pack in here, because I like the idea of having power out here. It'd be nice to be able to plug things in when I'm in here doing other work, because you know in the spring, in the fall, I'm in here a lot. In the summer, not so much, but in the summer, if we did have that solar power bank in here, we could run like cooling fans, because right now I don't have cooling fans in here. I don't have any kind of power, so in the summer it gets a little too hot to do anything in here. But there's an option if we ended up going with some kind of solar system in here. So I'm really got some options I got to weigh out here on what I think I want to do. Because while I think the solar air heater is a very easy, cheap way to try to create some sort of heat in this greenhouse, I kind of think the idea of a solar bank power system in here offers a lot more versatility for what I want to do in the greenhouse. All right, well, I gotta go put some groceries away, because I got up this morning and that's one of the things I had to do was go get groceries. You know, it's one of the trade-offs. The wife does all the other stuff. Sometimes I gotta do things like grocery shop.
Not a fire truck. We were working on
Oh no! Cut the part where I fell over. Not quite. I almost did a wheelie.
Wow! The days seem to fly by on us. So, kids and I went outside, had some fun, played in the snow. Just some sledding on our little homemade picnic table hill. And then we played a whole bunch of Legos, and holy cow, the kids were really getting into it. And you know, me too, because every grown kid still loves Legos, right? So yeah, that was a lot of fun playing Legos. Built a lot of cool stuff, and they're still in their building. I couldn't tear them away if I tried, so I just snuck away real quick to finish this video. And because I got something else I'm working on. You guys know it's coming up during the middle of the week. Heirloom Seed Company Spotlight Day. So as we were talking earlier about these barrels, I think it's a good idea. I think it can work in many places. It really depends on how many hours of sunlight you have. We don't have a ton of hours of sunlight in the winter here, so they don't get enough sun to warm themselves. So then I kind of feel like it would do what it's designed to do, which is to collect a little bit of that heat during the day and kind of dissipate it slowly at night to just kind of keep it a little bit above freezing. It's not going to keep it warm all night long, but what it's going to do is extend how long it kind of stays warm in here. So I think with an actual heat source to heat these up to a really good, 80, 90 degrees, something like that, it would actually do what it's intended to do. But with just trying to use the sunlight that we seem to very lack a lot here in the winter in Michigan, it doesn't really do the trick for what I wanted, for what I intended it to do. So we still have to work on some sort of heat source, and then I think on top of that, with those, it'll actually be a ton better. So we'll keep working on it, right? This week's spotlight is a pretty important one to what we're doing here at the Citystead. So I'll just give you a little bit of a boom. There it is. There's your sneak preview. Stay tuned for Wednesday. I am super excited about this one. All right, but I gotta get a bunch of work done, guys. These videos don't make themselves. Remember, be bold, grow bold. And as always, we'll see you guys in that very next video, which will be an Heirloom Spotlight Seed Company video. Boom!